On today's show, I'm going to be reviewing the incredible Bane vs. Batman 1/3 scale statue from Prime 1 Studio. That's up next. Hello everyone, it's Chris the Batman Statue Collector, and welcome back once again to Brotherhood of the Bat Collectibles. If it's your first time visiting, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell. Make sure you choose all, that way you don't miss any of this content. Now, a lot of you, and I want to thank everybody that joined me for the live unboxing of this Bane right here. It's absolutely insane how massive this thing is, and I can't wait to show you all of the close-ups, the 360 detail on this guy, because he is just... it has literally left me speechless as I look at this thing. It is incredible. I just cannot wait to share my thoughts on this piece. So without further ado, let's do it. Alright everybody, so I have Bane up here on the table, and pun intended guys, this is literally a monster. This thing is insane. How big and how amazing this statue is from top to bottom. I am literally speechless. I am just shocked at the sheer size and girth of this statue. So not only do we have a 1/3 scale Bane up here, but we have a 1/3 scale Batman pummeled into the mud. And it's just, again, it's mind-blowing, the art direction on this piece. I absolutely love this thing. And I can't wait to share all of the details with you guys. Of course, the major thing that's a problem with this piece is the size. It is not going to be for most collectors. This is for the 1/3 scale collector or the major Bane fan. But even if you're a 1/3 scale collector, it is still going to be very difficult to display because of its size. It is not going to fit a standard shelf. It's not going to fit a standard custom shelf. So I want you to think about that for a second. You have to have a specific display. I made a display for him. Like, I built my own shelf for him specifically with these measurements, and I pray that he fits. This was a chore in some regards to get some of these things on the base fit, and I will talk about that here as I actually talk about the statue, because I did have a little bit of detail with the lower body fitting in, and also some areas with the wood. I want to talk about that as well. But all of these things are going to be pretty nitpicky, if you will, as we get closer with the close-ups and everything else. But I just wanted to give you guys a 360 spin again to see exactly what you're going to get with this thing. He looks really good from almost every angle. And again, this is one that I feel like you are going to have to display up a little higher. And the reason being is because you want to be able to see Bane's face. If you have him low, this is not going to make a very big impact in your collection, in my opinion. I feel like he has to be at least waist high or higher. In my collection, I am going to have him up very high, almost up to the ceiling. That way I can look at him. Now, of course, if you have him up high, the big problem with that is that you're not going to be able to see Batman very well. Batman to me is awesome on this base, but it's almost a secondary thing for me. My reason for buying this statue is I wanted a 3rd scale Bane. And also, we have to ask the question, is this the best Bane ever? I am going to show you next to the premium format so you guys can see it side by side. Of course, we also have the Daniel Bell piece coming out next year, which I'm really excited about. Will that be the best Bane? I don't know. I don't know how this one can be topped because it's just so epic. Just the sheer size of him is just so epic. His fist is as big as my fist. You know, that is insane to me. Of course, I want to give a major shout out to David Finch. David Finch is the artist, basically, that inspired this work. Of course, this is a rebirth Bane, a rebirth Batman. And it captures David Finch perfectly. A lot of you have the Batman Sanity piece and love that because it was David Finch. I love this because it's David Finch. And this is just absolutely perfect. It really captured that comic from me, just for me. I'm tongue-tied when I look at this thing because it's just insane how crazy this thing is and how just ginormous he is. So with all of that said, I know you guys are going to want to see all of the close-ups, so I'm going to do that. I'm also going to show you the different swap-outs, which really there's only one. What we're looking at right here is the EX, which again is, in my opinion, EX or fail here. This is cool, but that rocks. and I'm going to show you all those close-up details here. So let's go ahead and get started with those right now. All right, guys, so here we have Bane up on the table, and just look at that. It's just so crazy how big this thing is, and just how impressive. This is the front-looking view here of what you're going to get, and then let me kind of pan over here so you can see the side as well. It really looks good from that angle as well, in my opinion. It just really goes to show you how freaking big he is. And then like this angle right here, I really like. It just looks really good. I'm going to come around here as well. Again, I apologize for any shadows in the room, but you can really see just how thick and how wide he is. And I want to start with the base like we always do, and then we'll come back to everything else. But I'm going to start over here with the rock work. The rock work is really well done overall. It's got some grays. You can really see the gray. You can also really see the white as well. And it's got some nice marbling looking texture. There's a little bit of green in here as well. I would have maybe liked a little bit of darker shading areas, just to give the rock even more depth, especially in some of these areas that there's like a shallow area. It would have been pretty cool, but overall, I think it looks all right. And then, of course, you have these wood elements, which is really nice. It's this shattered crates, basically. That's the story they're telling here on the base. So my only nitpick with these are they just kind of fit in. There's no magnet, and you have to kind of push down in, but otherwise they're still very easy to lift in and out. I would have liked a magnet here. I think that would have been nice. Again, all of these just kind of come out, and you just have to kind of push them down into place. It's not a big giant gripe. It's just it would have been maybe cool if it had some actual magnets there. I think that would have been nice. The mud itself looks really pretty good overall. It's got a nice sheen to it, as you guys can see. But again, what we're really looking at here is this. I'm going to kind of zoom back here so you guys can see the whole effect here. It's crazy. This is literally a Batman Rebirth statue, and it is a 1/3 scale statue just in the base, which again, the concept here, I've never seen anything like it. It just looks incredible. This mud area here, I think it looks okay. It would have been nice if maybe, since this is already part of the base, if the mud would have just like gooped onto him instead of just made this line. I get the concept that he was literally just pummeled in and it's like pushed the mud up. But I don't know, I think it maybe would have been just a little bit better looking. But overall, I mean, how cool is this that we have a full-size Batman right here in this base? It's just absolutely insane what we have here. Okay, so let me kind of come around here on the front so you guys can see the metal work here. I'm not exactly sure if this is supposed to be like a bridge, but it looks really good. And then, of course, as we spin it around, you're going to continue on that rock work all the way around, and it's going to look good. And then, of course, you have these nice detailed elements on the back as well, which you're probably never going to see, but I did want to highlight the bottles. I mean, how cool is that? Absolutely fantastic. They look like real bottles. And then, of course, you have a full crate back here. Obviously, Batman's been smashed through one at the front. Here's a pretty cool shot between his legs here of Batman. I mean, just look at that. It's just really crazy good. Obviously, he has just got the snot literally knocked out of him. His feet go kind of under there, so they're completely buried in the mud. And then, of course, we have more of those wood elements that I was talking about there. But overall, looks really good. And then, of course, I'll spin him fully around so you guys can see the full effect here of the base. Again, just really cool. And again, look at that. It's just so crazy, right? All right, so let's look at the boots here. The boots are incredibly well sculpted. Lots of nice metal elements here. You can really see the flecking of the metal, like the aging of the metal there. Looks very used, very worn. And then you have these silver elements that really pop out as well. A lot of texturing, a lot of layering. I mean, you can just really see the way it's raised. You can see the texturing on the belt as well. Looks amazing. The belt buckle on the boot, excuse me. It's just, you can really see it there. You can see it almost looks like worn leather. The texturing here is just absolutely fantastic. I got the metal on the back here. It almost has a monster element in itself. Looks really good. There's that texturing in Batman's suit. You can really see there. Looks really good. Obviously all the blood and the blood marks on his chest. Just phenomenal. And then let's go out to the other boot here. Again, you have some of that mud element, the splatters. You have some nice grays. You even have some nice like brown colors here, which looks really good. Again, that looks aged and rusted. And just look at the texture. Good Lord. The cracks. It just looks like dried metal, dried leather. Look at that. Absolutely phenomenal. And then as we go up into the suit, again, this is fully sculpted. You can really see all the folds there, the texturing on the actual suit. You can see the pouches here look really good. You have some nice silver elements. And then as we get to the back, this is something I thought, like, you know, like when you have something in your pocket and it leaves that line, like, look at that. That is just crazy, right? Crazy detail. The seam here on the back, it's got some nice browns in it. Very nice. Really, really nice. You can see how, like, just, you know, like, it's just so realistic looking. All the detail. Again, all those great seams. The inner thigh here looks really good. And then, of course, more pouches. You got the separation between the shiny black and the kind of the dull black of the texture of the pants. Just incredible. Okay, I'm going to spin him around this way, and let's talk about this fist. So, again, this fist is literally the size of mine. Like, it is insane how it's the same. It's about the same. I mean, it really is about the same size. His fingers are obviously a lot bigger than mine. This does use a bit of forced perspective. So his hands are bigger than his head, which might bother some collectors, but I get the concept here. He is on Venom, and it is forced perspective, which I absolutely love. But you can really see the texturing, the speckling of the skin. Looks very good. And let me come up here on this hand as well. Again, you can just really see the detailing here. Absolutely fantastic. It's just really crazy what they've done. Also, I want to highlight, you can see the blood on the knuckles. There's not blood on the fingers, but there's blood on both knuckles here. Let me get down underneath this one. Hopefully you guys can see it. But there is blood on those knuckles, which again explains why Batman, right below him, is bloodied. Crazy. Okay, so on this hand, he just has the glove. And on this hand, he's got this piece that holds the venom, that pumps the venom into him. And I'm going to spin around here so you guys can see all of the detail. Look at the texturing on it. Weathered, it's got scars, it's got scratches. And that's where the venom pumps in right there. Really amazing. Look at the detail along the skin line. You see how it's got that rusted, kind of that rust color against the gray. Again, just incredible detail. And then look at the veins on the skin. Let's talk about the skin a little bit. Got the black strap. This is where the cords plug in. Really amazing. Holds those venom tubes, and just the veins. I mean, it's got some green elements to the veins. As they pop up and rise, you can really see that the venom is coming through there. It's not just flesh color. Really crazy detail. Kind of come down here around here. I also want to show you the buckle. It might be a little harder to see with the light, but there's the buckle. It looks really good as well. You can see the blood on his wife beater shirt here. Absolutely crazy, this tank top. Again, the blood on the knuckles. Very subtle. And of course we have more blood there. As we come around here, you can really see the blood underneath his shirt. Again, the metal elements of his backpack. Let me kind of show you more of his arm. Again, you can see the green on the veins. You see it's coursing through. Like that is, it's literally coursing through his veins, and you can literally see it. You can literally see the green popping through. It's very subtle, but you can really see it. It's just incredible. The freckling, craziness. All right, here we also have the belt. Looks really good. Nice silver elements there. And of course the texturing on the back of the shirt, and then the backpack himself. It's just crazy detail. Look at this. Look at the warning labels. It's just really crazy. Really, really crazy detail. And even more blood and tears. That's actually like mud splatter right there on the back. Hopefully you guys can see that's more, just like, you know, these guys have been through hell. Really amazing. Okay, I'm gonna come back around and let's see, let's move up and I'll show you again the backpack detail here. The straps that are on there, which hopefully you guys saw in the live unboxing. I'll make sure I put the link in here so you guys, if you missed it. Let's look at the throat area here again, just that skin texture. The translucent resin is looking really good, at least I think it is. Looks really amazing. Again, just the traps. Crazy. The tube itself looks good. It's, you know, it's a heavier duty cord, or, you know, whatever you want to call this, the tube. I mentioned it in the live. It would have maybe been cool if it had some, like, I refer to the Arkham Venom. It had like kind of like this green paint every once in a while, like it had been flowing through. That would have maybe been cool. But since this is the comic book version, I don't think it necessarily needed it. It's a nice color. It's a little bit more green in color, in person, excuse me. I just think it's very well done. God, the detail is crazy, guys. Back to the mud. This is really cool. Mud shiny. Again, I do have a light on it, so it it does, you know, maybe look a little bit better in person than it does on camera. So keep that in mind. But let me just look at that. Okay, so here, let's go up to the regular face here. So this is the regular face sculpt. This is what you're gonna get. I think this face sculpt is very, very good. Let me kind of let it slowly spin here for you guys. It is very, very good. It is very intimidating. However, I do feel like this is a piece where it feels like it is kind of an EX or fail. And the reason why is because I feel like these guys have been through hell, right? These guys have been through this major bloody war, and he doesn't have a drop of blood on his mask or anything, okay? So, obviously that means he's dominated, right? So this looks good. This looks really good. Let me just show you again what that looks like. But I do feel like, and I'm gonna take this off here, I'm gonna take the tube off, and I'm gonna take this head sculpt off, and I'm going to get this head sculpt right here. And I just feel like this tells the story. His mask is torn, he's bloodied, and I'm gonna put him on because I just feel like this is an EX or fail to me. Just because, and that's the reason why I bought it. If it didn't have this head, I might not have got it. Because look at that. I just feel like that tells the story so much better. Don't you guys think? I'd like to hear your thoughts, because I just feel like Batman's bloodied, Bane is bloodied. These guys have gone through hell together, fighting it out. I'm gonna kind of spin it here and see if I can get some better light for you guys. Maybe that is better, or maybe it's worse, I'm not sure. But it's just, don't you guys think that's better? I just think it is. Some people might really like the regular head sculpt. I'm gonna spin him back around and I'm gonna hold it here so you guys can kind of see what those two look like together. Again, they're both very good, but I just feel like this one right here just tells the story so much better. So much better. All right, so let me give you kind of a front look here so you guys can see what that looks like. Kind of a side profile, again, kind of what you would get. I think if you have them propped up a little bit, this is kind of the view you get right here, which looks really great. And I'll kind of show you from the side. So you still get that Bane look, you still get that luchador mask, but on the other side, you do get that ripped, shredded to hell battle mask. It's just crazy, right? See his green eye and his red eye. Just looks crazy. Just insane. So again, I prefer this head sculpt, bar none. This is what will be on him probably 98% of the time. just because it's so freaking awesome. So awesome. Okay, so what I wanted to do now is I'm going to add the OG premium format. Some people have requested what that looks like, and I also might share some other swap outs here just to give you guys a size comparison of how big this guy is. Will of course measure him as well and give you those full details here in just a moment. But God, look at this. Insane how good that is, right? All right, guys, so here, keep in mind I do have it up on the turntable, so it is raised a bit. But here they are, side by side. So we have Bane number 1 and OG premium format Bane right there, which is still absolutely amazing. But, I mean, if you're looking at these two next to each other, I just don't think there's any contest of which one, in my opinion, is better. This one I didn't think could be ever passed up. You know, is the new Daniel Bell one better than this one? I am starting to think so. Is the Daniel Bell better than this one? It's going to be really tough competition. But I did want to share what those two look like next to each other. They're still both amazing. They still both hold up very well. But if you want the ultimate Bane and you collect this scale, this is a no-brainer for me. I'm so glad I picked this up. Really impressive. Okay, I'm going to share some other third scale statues with you guys and let you see that size comparison, but which one do you guys like better, OG or the new Prime 1? Alright, so next up I have Killer Croc, which is the biggest statue in my collection, next to Bane, and they actually compare. They're about almost exactly the same height. Bane, his base is way, way bigger than Croc's, as you can see. Croc's would easily fit on top of this base. Actual thickness, Bane is definitely thicker overall in his pose, but they are about the same height. Croc's head is bigger, but if you want two monsters in your collection, I still think these are going to pair up really pretty nice overall. You can really see the two of them together. Kind of a similar pose, kind of hunched over a little, but you can really see, you know, I always wondered if Bane would be bigger than Croc, and comparably, they're about pretty close. Bane is just a little bulkier, and definitely, definitely a bigger base for sure, but it's crazy. So the weight on this table is making me nervous, so I'm going to get these guys off of here, and then we'll do some measurements, okay? But really cool to see these guys side by side. Alright guys, so it's time to measure this bad boy, and when I say massive, he is literally massive. Let's give you kind of an idea of height here. He is approximately 34 inches tall. Okay, 34 inches tall. Let's talk about depth, how deep the statue is going to go. Again, this is approximate, but we're looking at a good 25 inches deep. Think about that, 25 inches deep. And let's go wide here. I'm going to go around him. Let's go from this corner to this rock work. Guys, I'm getting 30 inches, guys. 30 inches from this point to the end of the rock work. 30 freaking inches. So 30 by 25, 34 tall. This thing is going to take up a footprint in your collection for sure. So it might not be for everybody like I mentioned. I also want to mention one other thing while I'm here. One of my biggest nitpicks of this piece was, at least on mine, and I've also seen some other collectors with the same problem, Junior Statue Collector, and even Mac a little bit, Mac Collections. I think his went in a little bit easier, but my legs did not line up correctly. I know Mac said on his video that you should, use a little bit of force and go straight down evenly. Mine was not doing that. So we actually did a little surgery on the statue. We actually dremeled out just a very small centimeter of each corner of this key here on this boot and this one over here as well. So we actually dremeled it a little bit and we started to put it in. It still wouldn't budge. We still had to give it a pretty good amount of force, and at that point it went in. Like, it went in solid, and I don't even know if it's going to come out very easily or not. But the fact that we had to Dremel it, I've not really had that problem with any Prime 1 products before. Everything about this statue is quality, it's amazing, but the key did not quite fit. And again, I've heard that from a couple other fellow collectors that they had trouble with theirs as well. So for this price point, it should fit no problem, and maybe it's because of weather changes. You know, the shipment over here to the United States maybe could have warped the polystone a little bit. So I'm going to give Prime 1 the benefit of the doubt. But again, you should never have to Dremel your statue to get it to fit. But I did in this case. I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did some surgery on this. My wife and I did a great job of getting it down in here. But I had to have some help to get this down in the base. So I did just want to say that right off the bat here as we start to wrap up, because I thought that a lot of collectors might want to know that bit of information. Maybe yours will line up perfectly, but mine did not. So there you guys have it. This statue, like I said, I'm still in awe of this thing. Is it my favorite statue in my collection? It's up there. I still feel like maybe the Bermejo Joker for me is still a better statue, just because I love that statue so much. I love the Joker way more than I love Bane. But I'm so glad to be able to add this to my 1/3 scale collection. Having him surrounded by Ivy and Harley and the Batman Who Laughs and Batman. All of these characters, Deathstroke even, having them surrounded by these villains, like I feel like he is a good centerpiece piece. I'm going to go back with what I said again. My biggest nitpick with this piece is the legs not going into the base correctly. That was annoying to me. That was frustrating as a collector. I've never had really that issue. I've never had to actually Dremel into a statue before. But that was the only way that we could get it in, and even at that point we had to push down really hard to get it into the base, which also makes it hard to ever take it out and remove it and move it. So that for me was the biggest frustration. And again, the other little piece here was the wood just kind of fits in there. It doesn't really magnetize. It could fall over fairly easy if you knock into it. That was kind of annoying to me as well, because I'm so used to the really strong magnets. But those little nitpicks really, or maybe medium nitpick on the legs. But the statue itself is fantastic. The base is just second to none. It tells a story, which you guys know I love. And Bane himself is, I don't know how this thing can be topped. The Rage face, the David Finch art, it is just mind-blowing how big and massive and how much of an impact this piece will make in your collection. Now, it's not cheap. But in my opinion, it was worth it just because of the sheer size, and I could see why it was the price it was. I did end up paying over $2,000 with shipping from Prime 1. I did order this again from Prime 1 directly. It never went up on Sideshow's website. I've heard that this was kind of a region exclusive for Prime 1, so that's why I don't think it'll ever go up for pre-order. Maybe it will eventually, but I couldn't wait anymore. I had to have this. I'm really glad I did, because I'm just looking at it, guys, like it is crazy to me how good this thing is. But I want to know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of it? I give it a solid 9.6. I'm going to give it 9.6 out of 10. That's a pretty high score for me. Again, it probably would have been maybe a little higher if the legs would have fit in. Now that I've got them in, I'm relaxing a little bit. With my frustration, but yeah, this thing is insane. But again, I want to know your comments down below. What do you guys think of this piece? Is it one that you're considering picking up? Have you already purchased it? What do you guys think about the fact that the legs didn't fit in that great? That does bother me, but I'm curious if it bothers you guys. Especially for something this big and this expensive. Would that bother you? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell. Make sure you choose all. That way you don't miss any of this content. And again, just thank you guys so very, very much for watching this. It means the world to me. And stay tuned for the next review, because it'll be coming soon. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the Batcave. Bye, everybody. God, this thing is freaking awesome. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these two awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.